Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel NECN TV. This is Dr. V.Sireesha, Associate Professor in the Department of CSC. Today we'll discuss about Module 3 in IP, that is arrays and strings. Coming to the array definition, an array is a collection of same data items that are stored in a single variable. Also we can say an array is a collection of homogeneous data elements that are stored in successive memory location. Whereas a normal variable is used to store a single value, array variable is used to store multiple values of same data type. Coming to the introduction, arrays are the derived data types in C programming language which can store the primitive type of data such as int, char, double, float, etc. A specific element in an array is accessed by its index, which is also called as subscript, which is enclosed within the square brackets. Array index starts from 0 to n-1, which is also called as the range. Coming to the advantages and disadvantages, by using arrays, code optimization, ease of traversing, ease of sorting, and random access are the advantages of using arrays. And the drawbacks of using arrays is its fixed size. Once the size has been fixed, we can't exceed the limit. Another one is memory wastage. Types of arrays. Based on the number of subscripts, we can categorize the type of an array. If there is one subscript followed by the array name, it is called as single or one-dimensional array. If an array name is followed by two subscripts, then it is called as double or two-dimensional array. And if an array name is followed by more than two subscripts, then it is called as multi-dimensional arrays. And coming to the concept of array indexing. Array indexing is nothing but giving the indexes to the array elements is called as array indexing. And the syntax to declare an array is data type, array name followed by the subscript or square brackets. Within the square bracket, we'll specify the size. For example, int a of 10. This means this is an array that contains 10 indexed elements from 0 to 9. Processing an array. Under processing an array, first we'll discuss about initialization of arrays. We can initialize an array followed by the syntax as data type, array name. Within the subscript, we'll specify the size equal to list of values which are enclosed within the flower brackets. For example, int k of 5 equal to 11, 22, 33, so on, which are enclosed within the flower brackets, and each element is separated with comma symbol. Reading array values. We can read values of an array elements from keyboard by using scanf function within a loop. For one-dimensional or normal declaration, we can use one single for loop. And coming to one-dimensional array, we can initialize one-dimensional arrays in two ways. One is compile time initialization, another one is runtime initialization. Compile time initialization is nothing but initializing the values during declaration is called as compile time initialization. This is also called as static initialization. And initializing the values during runtime is called as runtime initialization, or also called as dynamic initialization. Here we can change the values every time we'll execute the program. Coming to two or double dimensional arrays. If an array name is followed by two subscripts, then we'll say such type of arrays as two-dimensional arrays. And the syntax for two-dimensional arrays is data type, array name followed by two subscripts where one occupies size 1, another one occupies size 2. Size 1 specifies the number of rows and size 2 specifies the number of columns. And total number of elements in two-dimensional arrays is number of rows into number of columns. And this is the representation of two-dimensional arrays, which is in the form of a tabular format. This is mainly used for data representation in matrices. And initializing two-dimensional arrays. Just as we have initialized the elements into one-dimensional, we can also initialize the elements into two-dimensional by enclosing the total number of elements within the flower brackets, and each value is separated with comma symbols. In another way also, we can initialize the elements into two-dimensional arrays like row-wise. How many rows are there? Separate flower brackets are enclosed and each element is separated with comma symbol like this. And reading and printing two-dimensional arrays. We can print a two-dimensional arrays using printf function, and we can read a two-dimensional array using scanf function. And for two-dimensional array reading and printing, we need two for loops. One is for number of rows, another one is for number of columns. Multi-dimensional arrays. Multi-dimensional arrays use 3 or more dimensions. That is, if an array name is followed by 2 or more subscripts, then we will say such type of arrays are multi-dimensional arrays. Syntax: data type array name followed by more than 2 subscripts, and each one specifies different types of sizes. For example, int k 2, 3, 4, where 2 represents the number of dimensions, 3 represents the number of rows, and 4 represents the number of columns. And we can define a multi-dimensional array as a collection of m1 into m2 into so on mn homogeneous data elements that are stored in m1 into m2 into so on mn successive memory locations. Coming to the next concept, strings. We can define a string as an array of characters which is enclosed between double quotes. Also, we can define a string as a sequence of characters terminated with a null character, that is /0. And the syntax for defining a string is char string name followed by the subscript. Within the subscript we will specify the size. Here we can define the data type only as char, then only it becomes a string. We should not use another data type. And we can initialize the string in 2 ways. One is we can enclose the string within the double quotes, or we can initialize the values single by enclosing within the single quotes, and each character need to be separated with comma symbol. And either the way we can also specify the size, or we cannot also specify the size. Without specifying the size, the compiler automatically, based on the number of character, it allocates the memory for the string. Reading the strings. To read strings from keyboard, as usual we use scanf function, but here the format specifier is %s. We don't have a separate data type for strings. We will be using the same data type char for defining the data type of the string, but the format specifier is %s for a string. And this is a scanf function that we can use with the format specifier %s followed by the string name. And the problem with the scanf function is that it terminates its input when the first space occurs. For example, if we type New Delhi from the keyboard, it accepts only new to the array. Next, printing strings. To print a string on screen, we use the printf function with format specifier as %s. For example, char college of 50 is equivalent to, we need to enclose the string within the double quotes, Narayana Engineering College. And we can print that message using printf function by specifying the format specifier as %s followed by the college. String manipulation. We can manipulate the strings by using different types of functions which is provided by a separate header file, that is string.h. So by including string.h we can use these functions. So C supports a number of predefined string handling functions which is used for manipulation of strings. And that first one is string copy function. For string copying, we can use the function strcpy. This function works almost like as a string assignment operator, and the syntax for this is strcpy of string 1 comma string 2. Here we are going to copy string 2 into string 1, and the length of the string 1 should be greater than the length of string 2, so that we can copy string 2 into string 1. One more function that is used for manipulating the strings is string concatenation function. The function name is strcat. This function joins two strings together, and the syntax for this is strcat string 1 comma string 2. This function appends the contents of string 2 into string 1 by removing the null character /0 at the end of the string 1. For example, char name of 10, here we have initialized Narayana, and char name 2 of 10 we have initialized college. And if we concatenate these two strings by using strcat, we will be getting the Narayana college.